The estimate is that we eat about a credit card's worth of plastics a week in the food that we're eating, in the water that we're drinking. Water is treated, but it's showing up in our bodies and in our systems. And as that breaks down, it has other long-term health impacts. My name is Lara Fowler. I'm a professor of teaching at Penn State Dickinson Law. So my research is focused on a variety of topics that relate to environment and energy. So for example, water and agriculture, or climate and human interactions. So really looking at the law and policy related to these things and how our systems work together. Plastic-Free July is the idea that you're really spending a little bit of time thinking about a topic like plastics, right? And trying to think, it's hard in our day and age to not use plastics at all. But can you decrease it a little bit? Can you think about bringing your own containers? How do you pay a little bit of attention and start to think about behavior change? What can you do to make a difference? And single-use plastics are a problem in part because they're everywhere, right? What we have found is that researchers have looked for microplastics. Plastic, as it degrades and breaks down, ends up in little bits and pieces all over the world, in the North Pole, in the South Pole, in all of us. Plastics, as they break down, emit basically impacts to they're called endocrine disruptors. They disrupt how your body naturally produces different kinds of materials, if you will, hormones. And so what we're seeing in a lot of different places is really severe health impacts. Again, not just to humans, but if you add enough of the water fish are swimming in, they're finding fish are changing sex, and they shouldn't be, right? They can have pretty dramatic effects. This past year, there's actually been quite a discussion about a global plastics treaty. How do you start to decrease that? But again, the push and the pull. The push may be law and policy, but the pull may be the consumers saying, hey, we want less packaging. Notable examples is several different grocery stores have really tried to reduce their amount of packaging, in part because of consumer push. So if you're thinking about, well, I'm one person, what can I do in a sea of plastic everywhere I go? Part of it may be thinking about, all right, I have a water bottle. Is it plastic or is it glass? There are now glass water bottles. Can I bring water from home? Can I bring my own containers from home that are reusable? Can I push as a consumer to be able to not have as much plastics in a grocery store or at a restaurant? You're starting to see more reusable bowls or plates at even festivals. If you think about a month like Plastic-Free July, the reason for stopping to consider this is just to pay attention to it, to look around, to realize how everywhere something like plastics are, and make a shift, a little bit of a shift. The next time you go to the grocery store, instead of grabbing, 5 items in 5 different bags, I'm exaggerating, but take your own bag, right? Raise your voice as a consumer to say, hey, have you ever considered not having plastic bags? Can you make that shift? Raise your voice to a grocery store and let them know you'd like less packaging in the system. They need to hear from people. So you can make your individual focus, but you can also then make more collective interest, right? Can you work with friends and neighbors to think about, well, what does that look like?